All right. All right. Welcome to another edition of the Dugout Talk with the Downs Bros. This is my brother Tommy Downs. I am Tony Downs. Tommy, okay, it's all about me tonight. You're
Woo! Let's go. Let's go. All right, bro. So let's talk about the side of baseball, what it takes for these baseball guys to get out there and get recruited. We talk a lot about softball, obviously. Baseball is a little bit different when it comes to recruiting. I think in general, how guys look at money, how they look at every academic, all that's just a little bit different from the girls' side. But baseball is a different beast in itself. So what do you think are some key points that are super important for these baseball guys, what they should be looking at? Because look at where Casey was at his last year. Having 100 dudes on a roster. I mean, that's a tough, fit in itself. But I mean, what are some key elements you think are important for these baseball guys? What they should be looking at? I know you've talked about, where you want to go versus the size of the school. But what else would you say to add to that?
Yep, good point. So what's Coach Tommy talking about here is my son was he finished his 4 year school and killed it over there, NAIA school, and then transferred to a local college, and they had 120 baseball players on the team. You guys, that's a football team. It's crazy. Now, here's the kicker is that a lot of these colleges are forced to put a JV team together now. And the reason why is because enrollment is so important to these colleges. They don't want to go out of business, right? So
Well,
a lot of these, a lot of, yeah, I mean, Tommy he has to put a JV team together. So, and that's just part of the school. These coaches have to do what they're told. And in order to get other coaches, they have to get, more players on the team. So as a baseball team versus a softball team, there's more athletes on the team. Here's a perfect example. Softball, Coach Tommy probably has 3 pitchers that his go-to, right? 3 pitchers, right? 3 to 4, maybe, right? His 3. Baseball has about 18 pitchers.
at least, right?
That's no joke. So, and that's healthy 18 pitchers. So the rosters are way bigger for baseball than there is for softball. Scholarships are the same though. I mean, your D1s and stuff like that, the scholarships are going up a little bit, but still your scholarships are your scholarships. Academic is still academic. They can't say because you're a softball player, you get this amount of money. Oh, you're a baseball player, you get this, right? It just is that they have like a football team. They're allotted so many scholarships, but they have 50 players plus on their teams. Whereas baseball, they're probably close to 40, and they're a strong 40. But then when you look at their roster and you look at how many kids play, there's maybe 23, 24, 25, maybe that are actually playing every year. So we talk about that. We look at rosters before we look at the school, right? Before we kind of fall in love with the school. Because if you're an incoming freshman, let's say you're a 25, and you're looking at schools and you're like, hey, listen, there's not very many catchers that are freshmen. They're actually juniors and seniors. So they're going to have to turn that over and they're going to have to start recruiting. So you may have an opportunity to come in, maybe even play, versus looking at a college, and they have 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores. Now you got 4 catchers, and they're going to be there for 4 years, you guys. So why would you go there and have to compete? And who knows what he's bringing in? Because a lot of these colleges will bring in 6 to 7 players per position. It really does matter. It's crazy, right? So anyway, yeah. So we talk about that. Rosters are important.
Yeah, yeah. So what else outside of that do you think is important? You think that, especially with baseball, and their rules are starting to change. Like next year, they're talking about changing all kinds of things when it comes to just the academic piece and money. So there's so much that it's changing, and I don't know if it's going to affect other sports around like softball, but I know baseball for sure is going to start changing. For even roster sizes now, they're talking about changing roster sizes where you can carry so many now. So with all that being said, what do you think is a key factor for some of these, 95% percenters that aren't getting that look? What should they be doing? What, outside of them going through you and setting up, their profiles and doing the videos, and what else are you doing to help them get themselves out to the right fit of school?
Yeah, no, it's important. You just hit it right on the head. It's a fit. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You know, I'm not going to be one of your high school coaches or travel coaches and tell you all these great things. You know, if I see what I see, and you need to find a school that fits your skill level. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if you think you're a D1 player and you're really more of an NAIA D3 player, I'm going to be honest with you, but I will tell you that there's some NAIA schools that will knock the piss out of some D1 schools. So it just depends on what state you're looking at and what type of schools you're looking at. I know Coach Tommy is an NAIA, but he has two of the best teams in the whole United States in his conference. So it doesn't. So division doesn't really separate, but it does, right? So the important thing is to find a skill set for, you know, let's say you're just an average player that you didn't get a lot of playing time in high school and that you didn't get a lot of playing time in travel ball. There is a college for everyone, whether it's a junior college, an NAIA, D1, 2, 3, NAIA. There are 1,700 schools for baseball and softball. So there's a school for you. These college coaches, they don't come out to these recruiting events. There's 30, 40, 45 maybe, but there's 1,700 colleges that are out there. So 1,650 aren't watching you play because they don't have the money to travel to watch you play. So that's why it's so important for me to sit down with these athletes and their parents for an hour plus, and we strategize and we figure out a game plan to find the school that fits their skill level, their academic needs and wants, their budget, which is very, very important. We're gonna be honest about that. But I have my the little technology on my website that once they become a member, they can have access to the full United States and all the schools, tuitions, and all that good stuff. So it's an easier find for these guys to start having this conversation with coaches like Coach Tommy, right? That say, hey, listen, is this a fit or is it not a fit, right? What type of scholarships do you give? Do you give stack scholarships? Do you give athletic? Do you give academic? Or do you only do academic? Or do you just do academic with no athletic? Or whatever that conversation is, we're going to be able to diagnose that and help you find a school that fits.
Well, and talk about your connections, your networking, with certain coaches that you already know across the country. It's is it a call? Is it what are you doing to go, hey, what are you guys actually looking for? I have these kids, I have this kid that I'm working with. I mean, what do you do when it comes to those kind of things?
Yeah, so this isn't that type of recruiting service that says, okay, we got your money now. I want you to go step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you're good. You're working with me all the way through. And we're gonna if I have to get on there and have conversations with a college coach, a school that you really like, then I will. If I don't know them, then we're gonna have a conversation. That's important because it's good for me to connect with them. But you guys, we're out there with all these college coaches. I've been doing this for so freaking long that a lot of times when these college coaches and I start talking about an athlete that throws 94 miles an hour, they're like, yeah, I've heard that before, right? They probably throw 84, right? But they believe me because they know me and I'm not BSing them. So if they get a player that I say has got pop, they got pop. If I got a player that says that they don't, they don't. That's the bottom line. So it's all about connections, but it's really about finding the school that's going to fit their athletic skill set, academic
needs, man, huge
GPA, budgetary, geographic, everything, student body. There's some kids that need smaller class sizes. I'm a college professor. I do that I do it for fun. It's just what I do. I love it. And I teach grad school. And I'm telling you right now that, a lot of these classes with 10 or 15 students, those kids are very successful. But when I'm teaching classes that are 100 plus students or more, you don't get that one-on-one connection like you do at a smaller school, like Coach Tommy's school, for instance. And so if you need that, we can talk about that. See, these are little things we're going to talk about that's going to get you to the next school versus another recruiting service.
Yeah. And again, I don't think people realize that, what it takes when we're out there networking at college camps, tournament showcases, when, how many times have we sat and talked to the coaches, man, I need this, or I'm looking at this, I really need that shortstop. How many times have we go, hey, we don't need one, but we were just talking to this kid over here. He or she's really good. Here's
recruiting
our
event.
information. Or how about when we hand them like a flyer, say, hey, we just looked at this kid, go look at this kid real quick.
Yeah.
Stud.
Every recruiting event. I don't know of one in the last 4 years where we haven't given a student, I mean, athlete's
I
information.
mean, I know you and I specifically helped a coach that maybe we normally wouldn't help just because of their stature of how they play,
Yeah.
who they are. But
Yeah.
we've done it. We've done it.
Well, because we care more about the kids
We care about the kids
than everybody else, right? And they're looking to get to a school and make differences and break records, and that we're all about that. So
that's what it's all about.
And
Not about
we didn't
anybody
get
else.
paid for it. We didn't get paid for it, but that's just kind of who we are. We're really it's all about the kids, you guys. We don't do this because we're getting rich. Let me tell you,
No.
college coaches don't get rich. They are the poorest. They're like,
and that's you know, this is probably another podcast, but and that's the sad part is there's a lot of coaches that are good coaches that aren't coaching anymore, just because people don't realize what it takes to coach. How much time, how much sacrifice, how much pressure, how much it's all it's the coach is always the first object to attack when things aren't going well. That's just the way it is, and it's
kids aren't getting playing time.
Yeah, I mean, because especially this new generation where
they're soft.
It's gifted to them. They think that they just automatically deserve it because they got here, and unfortunately, that's just not how it works. And I can tell you right now, I literally just had a guest speaker yesterday that literally breaks down we're not going to sit and make excuses of why we're not doing these things, but we're going to actually do them, or we're going to fight to do them. It's nobody else's fault. It's 100% on you. And I loved it. It was awesome. I wish I would have recorded the dang thing.
Yeah, you should have, man.
I should have screwed that up.
We need that. You know what we should do, Tommy? We should get him on the podcast, not because he's a soccer coach, but and that's his specialty, the mental side of the game.
He teaches a college course on it. And I said, people don't realize the power of positivity in such a fallible sport. And let's be honest, a lot of people get in their heads in this game, and that's what holds them behind. It ain't necessarily their talent or their skills. They're beating themselves up. They're stopping themselves from being good. And that's what's unfortunate. We've seen it a million times. I've seen it today.
Yeah, it's it's crazy to me that I mean, could be another podcast too about parents kind of beating up on their kids a little bit. I don't mean physically, I mean mentally, right? It's why did you?
We're not meaning to. Trying to be loving and caring, but they're putting the pressure. They don't even realize it.
Well, and let's get it. I mean, gosh, dang, man. I mean, I love my dad to death, but man, if I didn't go 4 for 4 with 3 jacks, I need to work.
Different generation, bro.
I need to work harder, right?
And again, not everybody's built like we are. I mean, we took that we wanted to be better because of it, but not everybody.
Well, and I'm glad we had the upbringing we had, and one thing that Tommy and I are really trying to do, especially on these podcasts, is just really get the word out to these parents that maybe aren't, they never went to college or never played as an athlete, and so they don't know what to expect, but they're hearing it from other parents, or they're maybe hearing it from a travel ball coach who never even played in high school or didn't play in college or professional baseball or whatever that is. And so not that they don't know, but they don't know. And sometimes, they're given bad information. We just had a conversation with a lady this last summer, and I talked to her for like 45 minutes at the softball game, and I wasn't even looking at her players. We were just over there, and she asked me, stop this, and I started asking me questions. And she was just dumbfounded the information that I gave her because she just wasn't aware, and she was told that it was XYZ, and it's absolutely not true. And again, they don't know what they don't know, and Tommy and I totally understand that, right? Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, T. We have a little bit of time, so keep going.
Well, again, I was going to just kind of bring up another point that you probably should talk about. That how many times do we go to these camps and we're doing an educational talk with all these athletes? We're not even really recruiting. We're giving information out so these guys understand. Do you know what NAI means? Do you know what signing up, a 4-year deal? I mean, do you understand all these things? And it's crazy that when we talk to these kids, they don't know nothing, correct?
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, when you become a member of TAC College Recruitment, a family member of TAC College Recruitment, we go over FAFSA. We go over the recruiting process. We go over being strategic about the recruiting process. We talk about academics. We talk about GPA. We talk about divisions, skill level, videos. We talk about everything to prepare you to find that school that's going to fit you, so you're not just jumping from school to school to school, which is currently happening today right now, especially in the NCAA. They are jumping. It's not a good fit, you guys. They get one coach that's just all over them and they love it. They sign and they go, holy Jesus. We get to the field and that coach is something else. Or maybe there's 6 catchers. You know, I mean, Casey, when we had him on the podcast, my youngest son, he went to University of New Mexico and there were 6 catchers when they recruited him. They didn't tell him that. He's behind a freshman All-American, right? They cut 2 catchers. They redshirted him. They redshirted him, and they kept 3 guys. So they had 3 guys, redshirted him for the following year, but they cut 2. You guys, it's real. I mean, that's legit, and it happens all the time. So I'm not saying you can't listen to college coaches, because you have to, right? But you got to do your research. You got to look at rosters. You got to look at the school, the financial piece of it. You got to watch, like Tommy talks about it all the time. You got to watch the coach's coach. You
I
don't.
was gonna say, Tony, I bet you nobody goes and gets on their website and just looks at their last past year of games that are posted out there.
And they should.
They should. Let's just see how things are.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. Where do I fit? How do they coach? I mean, look at everything. Why? I don't know why. It'd be like you're studying for the SAT and you're just gonna wake up in the morning, you're gonna go. You're not gonna put any work in it that week. That just does it blows me away.
Yeah.
Well, you set yourself up to fail, right?
And it's an expensive lesson, right? I mean, you could walk away with college debt, or you can walk away with minimum debt, or you can walk away with no debt, but you got to be smart about it. And here's the thing, and I will, say this too. This is another thing that blows me away. So parents spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Tommy, one of your recruits that's a freshman this year, I was talking to her mom, and I asked her, how much does she spend a year on both of her daughters playing playing travel softball? Did she not tell us 40 grand a year? Yeah. That her job as a teacher she has that job specifically.
Blew my mind. It blew
specifically to pay for their softball. I knew it was a lot, and it's probably different everywhere, but that blew me away. So my college recruiting services, especially if you get in as a freshman, the max is $2 grand. I mean, $2 grand, and I'm going to help you find a school, whereas you're paying to go just to get played on a field that you may never even see a college coach or have a college coach talk to you. It just makes no sense to me. When this is what we do professionally, but yet you don't entrust in a recruiting service, because there's a lot of recruiting services out there that give us all bad rap. I totally agree with that, but that's in any business, in any industry, right? There's always bad apples, always. But you got to do the research yourself. You have to have, conversations. I have a free 15-minute consult with anybody that wants to talk to me. I'll talk to them for 15 minutes. If they believe in it's something for them and it's a good fit, we do it. If not, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is absolutely okay.
Again, I don't know anybody that really does that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not without trying to take a card or something. I mean, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. It really not in today's world. No. It's cutthroat island and the commissions and all this other stuff. And you guys are getting me right now. We're not so big where, I can't devote my time with this, but this is how important it is for me. There's some legwork for mom and dad to do and for the student to do, but it's to your benefit, because I don't know what your wants and needs are. We're going to find them out, but you're the one that's got to say, hey, listen, I like these 8 schools, but until you go there, Tommy knows this. He gets kids go there all the time, and finally he talks about being in South Dakota, and kids are like, oh, I don't want to be in the snow, but they play in domes most of their games. They play in domes. They're not out in that inclement weather. And then when they get to a city, they're like, dang, this is a cute little town. I love this area. Everybody's so nice. The school kind of changes it for you. So when you get there, you're either shock and awe, like this is cool, or this sucks. And right away. Yeah. But it's tough to find that out when you just kind of look it on the internet. Yeah. You agree with that?
I mean, virtual tours are really cool, but it's like looking at a cheeseburger online versus having it in your hand and you're smelling it. I mean, it's just different. We all know the cheeseburgers.
Do we get a scratch and sniff on that?
Cheeseburger, you know what I'm saying? Cheeseburger Eddie.
I'm cheeseburger Eddie. But anyway, I don't know why more parents don't do their research, and I'm not knocking travel ball coaches, you guys, not even a little bit. I mean, thank God those guys are out there and they
And
create
again, a lot of like 99% of them are just volunteer guys out there just
yeah,
rocking and out there
absolutely.
just doing it. And
Yeah.
some are getting paid, I get it. So that's more of a
Yeah.
job. But I mean, not everybody's in that realm. Not everybody.
No, not at all. And it's important for these guys to do this for you guys, because you guys now have an outlet to go play softball. We just talked to John Jacobs here. He's in Arizona, and they have a Bat Busters team. And we talked to his wife, who is a UCLA Hall of Famer, on a podcast. And you guys are going to be able to see that. But these guys are creating these smaller teams now, or younger teams, so they can get them while they're young and develop them all the way through until they're 18.
Well, again, and that's the other thing Tony just touched is not everybody's out there developing kids. A lot of coaches out there just collecting them and going, hey, come here because we win. Not because we make you better, not because we're going to get you better looks.
I'm going to ask you this right now. I want you to be totally honest. When you get out there,
I'm going to try to lie to you a little bit.
Yeah, lie to me a little bit, but not a lot. All right. So when you get out there and you're looking at these schools, or we're out there looking at colleges, how many times do you go up to the coach and go, "Hey, what's your win-loss record?"
I mean, honestly, bro.
Do you care or do you not care about their win-loss record?
I
Yes,
could give two craps. I don't even care if they're winning the game that I'm watching. I don't even. I don't care if they go out there and go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. I'm looking at their character. I'm looking at their mechanics, and I'm buying their future.
All right, Tommy, I'm glad you brought that up. I saw this meme tonight, and I gotta read it to you. So it says,
"This is glasses on for that, bro."
No, I can see. I'll squint really hard.
Vocals, you know.
I'll squint really hard. Hold on. Hey, shut up. So anyway, it says, an error does not make you a failure, but your reaction to it might.
How powerful is that? Like that should be on top of everybody's locker room as they're walking out, because everybody implodes once they get into that mental state of, oh, I just ate a ball. My coach is probably going to pull me out, blah, blah, blah.
Or I got this college coach looking at me right now.
Yeah, or that.
I just talked to him.
Yeah,
I feel like an idiot.
Man, they're going to turn and walk away from me. I don't think I've ever walked away from a player, making a mistake. I have from them literally pouting and walking off the field pouting. That's for sure something I'm going to
bad body language.
100%. Or blame another player. I mean, 100%. I'm like, see ya.
Or I start to argue with the coach coming off the field.
Oh, not good,
dude.
It's just, I mean, it's funny, Tony. You just said that. One of my biggest pet peeves, and I see this at even the college level, is, when you do scrimmages or you do practices where you have like a live bullpen, or you have live hitting, and you have catchers calling balls and strikes, and you get players complaining, that wasn't a strike. I'm like, you're not going to do that to the umpire in the game, so why are you even doing it at all? And it eats me up that people are so mad about somebody calling a ball on a strike, which they didn't think.
Uncontrollables.
They're uncontrollables. I always tell everybody, if I took away the plate, you're gonna keep complaining. If the catcher catch it, you probably could put your bat on it at some fashion.
That's a good point.
But we're so worried about that. 17 inches by 24. We're so worried about that versus going, if I can reach out and hit this dang thing, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the aggressor. I'm going after this thing.
Tommy, you and I, we spit this out of our mouth every chance we get, but we're not a deep count type of coach. We're going to attack and attack and attack. If it's first pitch fastball, we're going to knock the piss out of it. We are not looking to watch balls, right? No. We don't want to give the
and I want people to realize this. If this is our philosophy, if you don't like it, doesn't fit you, it's totally okay.
Totally okay.
It's not your fit. We're not your fit, and it doesn't mean that we're wrong and you're right. That doesn't mean that. It just means that we're not a fit.
Yeah.
I
will tell you that we're very successful at being aggressive.
I'm confident in what we do. I'm very confident.
I will tell you, playing professional baseball. At every level, if you're not aggressive, you will not climb the ladder. You will get released. That is the bottom line.
Good luck. Well, there's a statistic, and this is just for softball. Baseball, I'm sure it's different, but softball is once a pitcher gets a first strike on you, they get you out 78% of the time.
Yeah,
that's a true statistic.
Why would
you take pitches? That to me, don't get it.
What did we ask BN? She's a Hall of Fame pitcher at UCLA. Okay. Hall of Fame softball pitcher, UCLA. And I said, what's I said, do you ever get up there and try to throw a ball once? She's like, hell no. It's always strike one.
No, she's
So
trying to
if
get
you-
ahead. So she
what?
can throw her crap pitches.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you got a Hall of Fame pitcher telling you,
I shouldn't say crap pitches, tougher pitches to hit.
yeah, she's trying to throw a
Which crap
strike.
pitches.
She's trying to throw a strike because she's trying to keep her ball count down, right?
Yeah.
And she's trying to get ahead in the count so she can screw with you, right? So you can hit her pitches. So you're more defensive than offensive.
Yeah.
Tommy and I talk about this all the time. Like, don't give them the opportunity. It takes one swing. One. Don't take six unless you're batting.
And here's another side piece of this. And I just had this happen today in my own practice. I have a freshman that has been taught, hey, when I got 2 strikes on me, I'm just going to shorten everything up. And
don't say it. Don't you freaking say it, bro.
And this is the sad part for me. This is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. I'm like, this kid is a straight power hitter. Like, she hits the fence or over a good 50% of the time or more as a freshman. And she's been taught, hey, 2 strikes on you. I'm just gonna throw my bat out there. I'm just gonna and push it. I'm like, so I asked her, I go, why don't you just bunt? Why don't you just push bunt then? It's actually probably better odds than what you're doing right now. And she looked at me like deer in headlights, like, whoa. But I'm like, you're a power hitter, right? Don't you want to be a power hitter? Yeah. I'm like, so then why would you lay up on one of your swings? Why are you changing your swing? Why are you changing who you are? If you're a power hitter, be a power hitter. If you're a bunter, be a bunter. If you're a ground ball hitter and a runner, be that. My problem is that a lot of coaches don't do that enough. They just go, no, everybody's going to do it this way. This is how we do it. And I'm like laughing, going, well,
those aren't real hitting coaches.
Those are,
Tommy, I don't care. Tommy, I will fight this till the end. Yeah, I know of so many coaches that say, okay, you get 2 strikes, you choke up. When's the last time, Tommy, you took BP or you had one of your girls take BP, or even in baseball, they took BP on the field and they worked on choking up and hitting balls and BP? They don't. So why would you talk about it all the time? Swing?
I know. You talk about it all the time. You're like, if you're not going to do that in a game, why are you practicing it? Or vice versa.
You now become an offensive hitter. Now you're a defensive hitter. Yeah. And now that pitcher is going to eat your lunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know the sad thing is
pisses
that,
me off.
And then it happens. And then what do you say?
I'm telling you, nothing pisses me off more than saying, okay, what we need to do now is we need to move up in the box. We need to start choking up. You don't work on that. You don't. So why would you do that during your live at bat? It makes no sense to me. You hitting instructors that say you're hitting instructors, we can fight about this all you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
That is one thing that does not make sense to me. You don't work on it in BP. Why the hell would you do it in a live at bat, you guys? You don't. You sit there and you take that swing that you've worked on and you've mastered and you perfected, and then you're offensive to that pitcher, not defensive.
Now, again, I understand slappers are a little different. I understand there's some different scenarios, but we're talking about a straight up power hitter.
A swinger. We're talking about a swinger.
I don't understand the philosophy. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that coach is wrong, what he taught her, but I'm just like,
I am. I'll say it.
I mean, I'm just,
Tommy,
maybe their philosophy is that, but that's just not who I am. And it's,
you know what? They probably learned
aware of it.
They probably learned from somebody else, or they probably thought that, that's just probably been their way of coaching their whole life. But I have been blessed with some great hitting instructors over the years. And I have worked with major league hitters. I have worked with their kids. I am telling you right now, I have never heard anything like that in my entire life, that you're going to choke up with 2 strikes and you don't work on it. Listen, if that's your style, your hitting instructor style, then you work on that.
Yeah.
If you're going to say choke up, and I've heard coaches yell out, we have, choke up, you got 2 strikes. We're like, whoa. What? No, I don't want him to choke up. I'm here to watch him play. I want to see him swing. If they're going to strike out, you strike out taking a hack.
Yeah. Struggle, man. Struggle with those things.
All right, so we'll end it right there. I'm getting fired up, man. I want to go out and take some cuts right now. I'm break my back. So anyway, That's enough. Another
Yeah, I'm in my prime. I'm ready to swing. Let's go.
dude, you'll break every bone in your body, man. You
No,
pull,
no,
you
I'm
pull
good,
every
man.
hamstring,
Clean,
quad.
clean.
You're hot, man. You're full of crap. All right, so it's another edition of Dugout Talk with the Downs Bros. Thanks, T. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, bro.
All right.